guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is the Brown Feminist. So during my nursing school I got the chance to do an externship program, and in this video we're going to talk about the pros and cons of doing a clinical externship while you're in nursing school. So let's get started. Guys, I'm sorry I haven't been very regular in my YouTube channel recently. Work has been really crazy, but I really wanted to take the opportunity today, while I'm still in my work clothes and not in my shabby pajamas, to talk to you guys a little bit about the clinical extern program, what the pros and cons are of doing a clinical externship while you're still in nursing school. So if you already know, I've also mentioned this in my last video where I talked about my application process and the whole job interview of what a clinical externship is and how to apply for it, what kind of questions are asked, money and all of that. So if you want, I'll post a link, you can check that out. But essentially it's a program for third and fourth year nurses and RN programs. There's also externships for PSWs and not PSWs, but for RPNs and stuff. It's essentially like a paid job, like an internship, where you do a little bit more than a healthcare aide and a little bit less than a nursing consolidation student. And you work in like whatever unit of the hospital that you get the job in. Paid hours, flexible hours, usually do an 8-hour or 12-hour shift, days and evenings or nights. And you get to get a lot more hands-on experience outside of your unpaid hours that you do for your program. Definitely an excellent opportunity to kind of, build your rap with the nurses on the unit and the floor managers if you want a position. However, there are pros and cons to everything. So let's get into it and discuss what the pros and cons are that I have personally faced. Okay, so pro number one, and this is the biggest positive and the most important reason that I'm doing it, is that I did not get a unit of choice, my unit of choice when I was consolidating. So I wanted to work at a children's hospital or at Ottawa Public Health, and even though I ranked them high in my list of places that I wanted to do my final placement in, unfortunately, there was a lot of factors that went into it. In my school, they don't do it based on grades or based on application. It's kind of a random process. So I did not get to do my consolidation at the children's hospital at CHEO. So I was just placed kind of randomly on a med-surg unit where there was a huge shortage of nurses and they were more likely to hire. There were more placements. They were willing to take on more people. So I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my God. A, yes, I have to do the consolidation no matter where they place me because it's part of the program. But B, like, how do I make my way back? Because in nursing, you are most likely to get hired wherever you do that final placement, which is called your consolidation. So if you do those final 4 months somewhere, you're most likely to, land a job, get your first big job. Maybe, everybody will know you, you'll know the skills, you'll know the manager, you have a good chance of being kept there. Even if you don't stay on that same unit, you're more likely to get another job in another hospital in the same kind of specialty. So if I didn't get into the children's hospital, oh my God, how I was going to make it. So of course, the clinical extern program was an excellent opportunity for me to still be able to do the work that I like to do. I still got to work in my final semester as a fourth year final kind of nursing student in a unit that I loved, in a unit that I want to work in. So just the opportunity to be there, even though I'm consolidating somewhere else. That's pro number one. Now, pro number two is that you are getting paid for it. Unlike all the hours you're doing for nursing school, when you're doing a clinical externship, you actually get paid for the work you do. The pay is a little bit less than a nurse, a little bit more than a healthcare aide. So I got paid around $24 and something cents per hour, which is not bad. It's not as high as, my work in clinical research or anything, but it's still not bad to get paid for something you would have done anyway because you want to build a career in that industry. Pro number three is that you actually get to network with floor managers, charge nurses, make sure everybody knows your face, because usually when they're making a hiring decision to hire a floor nurse at a hospital unit, they will not just ask like your preceptor typically, they would also ask other people on the floor. So even if you did get your consolidation in a place of your choice, also doing a clinical externship opens you up to working with more than just your preceptor nurse. You can actually work with a variety of people on the floor, build those friendships, build those networks and relationships. And then, when people eventually go around, they'll be like, oh, hey, should we be hiring Freya for this full-time position that opened up? And they'll be like, oh yeah, hell yeah. She helped me with this. She's helpful. She's friendly. She's eager to learn, blah, blah, blah. So lots of opportunities for that. Pro number four is just that even if you are consolidating in one unit, but you're not super sure if that's where you want to be, doing this on the side will just give you the opportunity to have another specialty as an option. So if you did want to do peds as one of your main choices and you got peds, but you're also unsure if you want to do something other specialized like critical care, because there's a girl in my program who was like really sure she wants to do emerge, but it's really hard to get a consolidation placement in emerge or other critical care units. But through the extern program, she actually got to work in the NICU and the ICU and stuff. So if you want to have more than one door open, the clinical extern position is an excellent idea. And those are basically it. I think it's definitely really good. The final pro I'll give you guys, pro number 5, is that if you are somebody who's not super comfortable with hands-on skills yet, because a lot of you guys who are graduating during COVID, a lot of you guys had to do part of your programs virtually. So you didn't have like a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunity to do a lot of hours within the hospital because of outbreaks and stuff like that. This might be a way to kind of make up on the lost hours and get your hands create that muscle memory, get yourself more comfortable with all of these. So these were all my pros of why I really encourage doing it. Now let's talk about the cons. So con number one is that it's a lot of work, and typically they like to hire people in their 4th year. So for example, I got hired as the top 30 people out of 140, 150 applicants, and almost all 30 of us are 4th year consolidation students. So it's going to be really hard in terms of time and being exhausted, because consolidation itself is like a full-time nursing line. You're basically doing full-time hours, 2 day shifts, 2 night shifts and gap, 2 days shift, 2 night shifts and gap. So to have more stuff to do in that gap can really have an impact on your mental health, physical health and wellness, or just it's just going to make life kind of SUCK. So that's not going to be fun. It's going to be exhausting. And if you are somebody who are a bit nervous going into consolidation and you don't want to take on so much extra load in this final place, you're not super ready for it, then it's okay. It's not something essential. You can get away with it for sure. It might just take you a little bit longer to make your way to your favorite specialty, but you'll do it. That is the biggest con. The second con is that a lot of the programs of clinical externship are not very well defined. So there's always some confusion of when you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. It's not a fun thing to do, because in consolidation, you're allowed to do almost everything that a primary RN does. Whereas in the extern program, you're not. I wasn't allowed to do deep suctioning and IV insertions and a couple of other things that were defined as the definition of a clinical extern is different from a consolidation student. So instead of focusing all your energy in consolidation, you're diluting your energy to do a second position where, yes, you're being exposed to a unit and some of the skills, but you're not doing it to the level of a consolidation student. That's the second con for me. Honestly, these are the only 2 cons that I can think of for this. You can definitely do it earlier on. So my con number 3, if I had to put one, would be that you can do an externship in your 2nd or 3rd after you're ending your 2nd year, after ending your 3rd year. But it's much less likely to turn into a job if you're not doing it in your 4th year. These people are not going to remember you after a 1 year, 2 year gap. And they're not going to give you a lot of advanced skills to do if you're just finished out of 2nd year. You're probably going to be doing a lot more feeding and bathing kind of care instead of more medical skills. So these were my 3 cons and my 5 pros. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I'm sorry this was a super short and sweet kind of video. I did have a really great time in the orientation process. It was actually highly publicized because the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario did their first clinical extern program funded by the government this year. So it was like a big deal, and it's supposed to be very helpful to reduce and minimize the nursing shortage in Canada, and especially these type of settings, and kind of build that pool, that pipeline of students to come in, that can be hired and that will come in with like more advanced skills compared to if you didn't have any of this experience. So definitely very exciting. And I'll keep you guys posted about like what exactly happens. This on top of my research work, on top of my everything else, and my licensing exams coming up and everything. So it's been a lot, but I'm gonna keep trying to, like, even if I have to steal like 5 minutes of my day to talk to you guys, I'm gonna try and keep on doing that. I hope you will stay subscribed to my channel and give this video a like, and don't forget to ask me more questions in the comment section. Until next time, this was the Brown Feminist. Bye.